Okay, so what bugged me most about that last scene was, okay, so Connor has been like what shelled by two cannonballs at that point, like probably
Mm-hmm.
stabbed and like beaten up and shit, and he was
Mm-hmm.
getting choked out, and he just no effort whatsoever, just raised his hand, just like boop, and he's just done,
Yeah.
and it looked bad, it made no sense, and it just the entire scene was just dumb right there.
But what does that mean?
It just
Dumb.
dumb meaning it just like it's like they're expecting the people playing the game to be fucking mouth breathing like mongoloid idiots, just like who spend their spare time just like drooling and fucking horses. And like they expect like them to see that scene, like clap their hands together at how badass Connor was for just effortlessly just poking Hatham in the neck. And
Mm-hmm. Overcoming all obstacles.
yeah, it just it's just dumb. It just bad writing for one. This game's
Mm-hmm.
biggest problem, just the idiot
Mm-hmm.
writing. And you just have to suspend too much disbelief. There's just there's too much wrong happening in the scene for it just for it to even work.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
I mean, I can excuse some bad writing, but when literally every single part of that scene for it to work has to be that dumb, just something else. Okay,
I like where you're going with that.
I got nothing else. That's what bugged me with
No,
the
that
scene.
was. I'm glad you could enlighten us with it.
That's I mean, like, what did you think about that? I mean, you
No, I was in the same boat. That like he says literally 2 scenes before we get in the fight with Hatham that he is so weak he can't even fight a guard. The people that we kill in droves. And suddenly the most badass Templar this side of the globe is on our dick,
hmm
and we just throw him into 3 barrels and stab him in the face. I mean, first off, there's no reason that Hatham should have choked him out as opposed to any other method of disposal.
I mean, all he had to do was like, if he wanted to give up his little monologue, he could just been standing on top of like 1 foot on top of Connor's chest, looking down at him, talking to him like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then just
Yeah,
shoot him in the
drop the
face.
Captain Morgan,
Just
and then, but then yeah, I mean, but Connor has survived all of that, and then he can fight perfectly against Hatham, and Hatham is so sloppy as to allow Connor to throw him all over the place like that. Like this is not Connor learning to use drunk foo. This is Connor is literally physically battered to a point that he shouldn't be able to have been able to fight back at all.
hmm
And I have to accept that he just took out the best of the best.
yeah.
No. Also, yeah, like seriously, he's just gonna lift his hand up and slap him with a blade.
I mean, it just looked like there was just no effort behind it whatsoever. He just lifted his hand up and like
Yeah.
boop and just done, and it just looked so bad. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
even if he had the energy, it just looked bad.
Yeah. There wasn't force or anything behind it. It was just
It
fuck
just looked like ah guy, I touched your neck, and then you just like boop and just it looked so dumb.
it. But Graham, that's how a hidden blade works. That you just apply it and then do the secret hand motion that makes the blade eject, and it does it all on its own at 40,000 miles per hour, penetrating all skin, bone, and other forms of
No,
resistance.
just I think I think that's not that's just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Just that combined with the fact that like anytime someone gets punched or anything or is injured at all, it looks like just someone just smeared jelly all over their face.
Mm-hmm. They were eating a strawberry sandwich.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It just there's for as like high effort as some parts of these games are, there are some
Like
parts
the entire boat sections.
where they could give less of a fuck about stuff. That is just very just it wouldn't have taken much effort to make look good.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's going to be a lot of blood, so we'll just run with our first blood engine that just splatters people without any real care.
No, it's just like
Yeah, that
whenever
works.
anyone has blood on them, it looks exactly the same. It's in the same
Mm-hmm.
spots on the model
Mm-hmm.
every single time.
Yeah, wasn't Connor's fat friend just covered in blood despite being just stabbed
He
in the
got stabbed
side?
in the side, and he just like he had the blood splotches all over his mouth, and he's like all over the rest of his body, and just like
Mm-hmm.
it's not that his wound was bleeding. It's just like every single pore in his body started oozing blood.
Must have really sucked to be alive during the revolution when a single pinprick of your finger would cause your entire body to erupt in blood.
God, someone punching you. It's Fist of the North Star all of a sudden.
Suddenly everyone was kung fu fighting.
I think what really showed how like shitty the engine handles like any like texture changes on a character model was
Mm-hmm.
when right in the beginning when Charles Lee threw the mud on the one guy, hit him in the front, and all of a sudden his back was also covered in mud.
Yeah, and I don't even understand why that happened.
Like
I don't understand the logic that creates that.
it's something dumb. Like it's got to be
Mm-hmm.
something dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think they consciously like put like mud on his back or anything. I think it just ended up there
Mm-hmm.
after they applied the mud effect to him.
Mm-hmm. Which probably was just their blood engine, but turned brown.
Yeah, it's a bit too nice to call it an engine, Steve.
Well, it's some kind of system created for the sole purpose of applying a colored texture to a model in response to an action. I
It's
have
not
no other
even in
words for
response
that
to
than
an
system.
action. It's just like if someone is ever injured, they have those exact blood textures on them.
Okay, a tag or a classification.
It really only happens in cutscenes, from what I've noticed. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really give a fuck about all the guards you're stabbing to death. They just fall over and die and look the exact same. Okay, that's 8 minutes of this stupid horse shit.
I love horse shit.